Hey, you two. Natchez 860. Smoking Savinelli 316 and some haunted bookshop this morning. In Hartford, Connecticut, along the Connecticut River. Riverside Park, to be exact. Little geographic housekeeping. Over that way, it's the I-84 bridge into and out of Hartford. Whoops. You're looking south. And if we can swing you a little bit, that over there is East Hartford. Looking across the river. Boston is roughly that way. And Springfield is up to the north. We're actually right along Interstate 91. Bring you back. I had found this park in the wintertime. Well, I knew it was here, but I didn't really know how to get to it before. And I figured it would be a great place to come when the weather was better. Back in the 1980s, cities across the country decided to revitalize their riverfront areas. And Hartford really did a nice job. This park runs a couple of miles along this side of the river. There's bike trails and playgrounds, ball fields, boat launches. Really nice place. Looking down the river, I really can't see the monitor, but you can probably see a building with kind of an overhang to it. That area was undeveloped for a long time, known as Adrian's Landing, after a Dutch explorer, Adrian Block. You may recognize the last name. He discovered Block Island on one of his explorations in or out of here. In 1614. 6 years before the English settled in Plymouth. Adrian Block sailed up and down this river. Of course, there was nothing here but Indians. and he was what we'd call today, I guess, a developer. He decided he was going to set up a bunch of trading posts for the Dutch. Trade some stuff with the Indians. Probably furs, a little bit of tobacco maybe. Interestingly enough, the Indians were growing tobacco pretty much in the same area where the shade cigar leaf is still grown today, just north of here a bit. So eventually, some people from Amsterdam came over and ran these trading posts along the river here. And if you remember my little ramble on Old Connecticut Path, when the people in the Mass Bay Colony started to not particularly like what was going on up there, Thomas Hooker led a bunch of people down to Connecticut by way of the Connecticut Path. Just north of here. They would have crossed the river at some point. Some of the people settled in Windsor. You can actually take a walking path from here and get there, pretty close to there. And then some people settled in Hartford, just behind me. And another group went a little further south to Wethersfield. All three locations pretty much settled at the same time. And I always wondered what happened with the Dutch folks that came here. I don't know exactly whether Adrian Block filed some sort of official claim for Holland that they, took the place over or whatever, but not long after the English people came down from Massachusetts, all the people from Amsterdam almost literally overnight got on a boat and just took off. And I guess the Dutch, after that, had nothing to do with the place. The rest is history, I guess. In the early days, because the people were so spread out here, they built a meeting house in Hartford. The folks from Windsor would walk down. The people from Wethersfield would walk up and gather around this meeting house, find out what was going on. Probably attended church services. At least started some form of organized government. each colony, back in the early days, came up with their own form of government, drew up a list of how they expected the colony to run. Connecticut had what they called the fundamental orders, which was a little bit different from what the other colonies were drawing up. Mostly what colonies were writing about as far as governing had to do with how everything should operate within the colony. Connecticut's fundamental orders were more like what the rights of the individual were. And it's been argued among historians, but the fundamental orders were closer to what our Constitution today is, where you sort of built the government around the people as opposed to telling the people how things were going to run. Interesting stuff. Beautiful place to sit. Nobody here. Of course, it's early in the morning. This was one of those days I decided I had to get away. And I think I picked a pretty good spot. So with that little ramble, I'll wish you all a good day. And as usual, thanks for joining me.